And then we bring our hands into prayer pose in front of our heart center. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Nitroma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Inhale deeply, suspend your breath. And we exhale. Good. From here, we open our eyes. We bring our hands into Gyan Mudra, so the tip of your thumb touches the tip of your index fingers. All the other three fingers touch, and they're pointing forward. This is my inhale. On the exhalation, I just bring my arms forward. The exhalation is through the open mouth. It's inhale, nose, exhale, open mouth. And feel how you're arching your mid-spine here. Your eyes can be closed or just gently open. Bring your elbows back as far as your body allows you to. This is wonderful for our lungs and for our brain. It's like a cardio warm-up for the brain. Good, keep going. We go for one more minute. The more you bring your elbows back, the more you will open your chest. Last 15 seconds. Good, and then we inhale, we bring our elbows all the way back. We arch our mid-spine, suspending the breath. And then exhale, rest your hands onto your knees, close your eyes. Just sit here for a moment, feel the energy moving through you. And you might become aware that your next breath is even deeper. And there's more volume accessible. Then we open our eyes. We keep our forearms parallel to the floor, palms facing down. We turn our torso to the left and then to the right. All breath is through the nostrils. Take your head with you into both directions. This is a wonderful twist for your spine. It's a great twist for the digestive organs. It brings circulation into our lungs. And it's always good to decongest our liver. We do 3 exercises this morning, each for 3 minutes. We go for 1 more minute here. We come into center, we take a deep inhalation. And then exhale, resting our hands back onto our knees, palms facing down, eyes can be closed. So if you feel a little nauseated when you twist from side to side, just know that it's your liver talking to you. And this exercise that we just did is a great exercise to help our liver. Or having some leafy greens, lemon water, just to help the liver to flush out. Good, our eyes are open now. Our arms go into a V shape, palms facing down. And we're just moving in a circular motion. You align your movement with your breath. Have an emphasis on your exhalation through your nostrils. Arms are in V shape. You can have a focus on your heart center here. So my arms are not really out to the side, they're more in a V shape. And from the V shape, I'm moving in a circular motion. I know the arms start to feel a little heavy, but see if you can keep up and stay with it. Just know that you work for your lungs and for your heart. They work unconditionally for you for the rest of the day and night. Just a little bit more. Last 30 seconds. And inhale, keep the arms into V shape. Suspend your breath, pull your perineum, sex organ navel in and up and squeeze. Bring the energy from the first energy center all the way through your spine to the top of your head. And then you exhale, you relax your hands onto your knees. Now the palms facing upward. Just let the energy settle for a moment. You should be warm now in your shoulders and in your chest region. Good, and now we are ready for you.
Siddhi, I know in the Kundalini training and tradition, Kundalini yoga, that you do that, an arm movement with your arms like that for like a really long time. How long does one work up to? What's the...
Well, it really depends on the set. Yeah, so they are teaching the White Tantric teaching where you do some postures for 61 minutes.
Oh, that's not happening.
Don't worry about it. I'm never teaching it that in a class.
Okay.
Set. Yeah, so that's more for the experienced Kundalini students. But in general, you want to work because we all have these blockages. Yeah, most likely. So, and it needs just the repetition to break through them. So every posture actually has like often a time between 3 and 11 minutes. Or, you know, most of them maybe 1 to 3 minutes. It depends on the aspect.
So you should definitely go longer than just when it starts to burn. That's not the time to
That's
stop.
when you go into it.
Oh, I thought that was the sign to stop.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Good, my dear. Now I want to have you only on. I remove my spotlight. So it's you.
Thank you. Good morning, sweet ladies. Couple of announcements. One is that one of our community Sangha members, Lishan, her husband had a massive stroke yesterday, and he's actually unconscious. She texted me this morning. So he's unconscious in the ICU. I don't know if he's at Stanford or where he is, but she just asked that we hold her and him, his name is Ola, in our prayers. And so if you can just add Lishan and her husband Ola into your prayers, I'm sure it's a really frightening time for her and for her daughter. They have a 16-year-old daughter together. So, and on a lighter note, Shelley had her surgery. She's been unable to get online with us today from Germany. She's tried, but something's amiss in the ethers. But she wanted us to know that she did really well and she's recovering and she feels great. So that's really good news. You know, a scary surgery when you're dealing with your spine and your neck. I mean, all surgeries are, but particularly with your spine. And also on a good note is our own Anne, who's with us today. She actually traveled outside of California, long ways, all the way to New York and back, and is here to talk about it. So this is good. So her healing is well on its way. So for us just to, you know, be appreciative of these different stages that we're in with our body health and recovery and maintenance and observation, and the physical body is a big responsibility for us in this incarnation, in this life that we are in right now. So anyway, I'm very happy to see Anne rosy-cheeked and doing so well. That's nice. So today, Siddhi and I would like to talk a little bit about, this is our, for those of you who don't count every week, this is our 40th week of gathering. So we, that's a birth. We have birthed a community, which is quite extraordinary in this time to do that online and to have the level of intimacy and sharing that is happening. We are just so delighted about that. And just wanted to talk a little bit about what that means going forward we're really, I know that I and City, we really celebrate your curiosity and the support that you give to one another, and your curiosity about not just our circle, but the world, that you're all really seeking not something, but just to be an experience of aliveness. You're seeking to really be in the aliveness of this embodied form. And that's so fun to share that journey with other women who are like-minded in that way. And we really celebrate your willingness to be in a circle. It takes certain courage to be in a circle that, even this that's not gathering in person, but a circle, and reveal yourself and be willing to share the pieces that are moving through your life and that are taking your attention. And, you know, I think maybe, I don't really know what's going to come out of this whole COVID experience for everyone, but sharing online, I don't know if it's diminished some of the intimacy or increased the way we are intimate with one another. That's all, I guess, yet to be seen in our psychology review. But for us to be sharing in that way is really precious. It's precious. I mean, there isn't another word for me other than it's just precious. And I feel so honored to be with you every week. And I know City does as well. So we've talked to a few of you about what you have been getting out of this gathering. And we're always looking to adjust or to add or to, you know, just to make this an experience that is useful and integrative for each of us, to feel like we're really integrating this body, mind, soul experience that we're having in this embodied form. A couple of the things that City and I are thinking about, one is that many of you have healing and passions, that healing modalities and passions in your life that would really be nice to share with the group. And we tried that a little bit in the beginning for just a few minutes, but it's not adequate time to really share something that's coming through you. So we want to start something that's going to be, we think, be called highlights and resources. And our idea is that we would just once a month, maybe the first Saturday of the month, we would add a half hour onto our gathering time. And for those of you who would like to stay on, we'll highlight one person's healing modality, or what it is they're doing in their life that brings them a lot of spiritual passion and ignites their spirit journey, so that we can share with one another. And many of those sharings will be something that are healing related. And there are others of you who may find that that's a modality you'd like to tap into for your own healing. I mean, just thinking out loud, you all have many things to offer, but I know Lydia with her sound offerings, and Lisa with her shamanic healings, and Sheila with the writing, how to express ourselves through writing, and Laura, who's going to be is working on her wellness, integrative wellness health, that for women, she's got a whole women's health section. So there are all these different ways that we'll be able to share that which we're studying and exploring in our own lives with one another, so that they might be modalities that could help us, you know, individually. So we're going to start that. We'll give you more information about that, but think about what if you have something you'd like to contribute, no requirement, of course, but if there's something you'd like to share with the group, whether it's actual healing or just to talk about something that you're doing in the world. So that's one thing. The other is that for City and myself, the circle has no beginning and it has no end. It can be the two of us and one more person. It can be 1,000 people. It doesn't matter. The circle size is not indicative of the depth of it, or it doesn't make it better to be larger or better to be smaller. And so we just ask that if someone passing through your life feels, or is in your life, and it feels as though she should be included, include her. Invite women to come. We're not looking to increase the size of our group. We love the size it is, but we also know that there are other women out there who are craving and needing support in a way that joining a women's gathering, a women's Sangha, could be supportive. So we just say, sometimes it's someone you just cross paths with, and something they say makes you think, I'd like to invite them to join us. And they might not, but that we are not a closed circle by any means, that our circle is open to those women who feel called to take the journey with us, because it just makes it more flavorful and more diverse and more juicy. And that's what we're looking for, is juiciness. How do we stay juicy? So we're just mentioning that. Siddhi, is there anything that you'd like to add to what I have said? I'm sure there are many things.
I thought I could look at myself, that sometimes I don't invite women. Yeah, I literally forget. It's like out of my head. And I realized that in my own life, I'm like, God, I meet so many women, I hardly mention it. So and I think that's maybe a call on all of us, because I know so many women, and with inviting somebody, we also need to be open that they don't like this circle, that they don't like the movements or the talk, or they are not interested. So being open to get a no, yeah, and embracing the no the same way as you embrace a yes, and not having expectations, but it's giving another human being an opportunity and a choice. And if I am not communicating, I don't give a choice to another woman. So and I think that's where that's my focus for this week, is like seeing an opportunity for the woman, but seeing also the opportunity this woman is for the circle. So it goes both ways. Yeah, that's all I like to share.
Thank you, Siddhi. I really believe that the way that the world circles around, that people who are drawn to something will be drawn strongly, and they'll find their way in. So I don't worry about it in any sense. And I love what we've, how we are together and how we're really getting to know one another. I mean, 9 months, and we actually, most of us recognize the names now that are joining, and maybe a little something about each person's life, or, where they are living. And that's really beautiful to have done that in cyberspace. So I'm really, really thankful for all of you ladies. Is there anything that anybody would like to say? You're welcome to, if there's something you'd like to, you don't have to get on and say how wonderful it is, but if there's something you'd like to contribute, just to say this might be interesting or anything, we're open to any input that you might have. Is there anyone? I think you can unmute yourself if you are so inclined. No. You've already said it all. Okay. You know that we're always open to your input and to your suggestions or inquiry or ideas or whatever it is. Siddhi and I are not wedded to anything. That's our spiritual journey. We're learning to be unattached. So, all right. Well, then we have a little bit of time left, and I have something I would like to share today. Last week, I said something that several of you have come back to me about and been interested in maybe pursuing a little more deeply. And it was the comment I made that we are not just spiritual beings having a physical or earthly experience, that we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience at the physical end of the energy spectrum. And so I wanted to just maybe broaden that a little bit to talk about this in my perspective. This is just how I'm experiencing my life. In my perspective, this journey of the physical being is not about moving towards spirit, like seeking out my spirit, finding spirit, or integrating spirit into my body and mind, like somehow coming back together. It's more about awakening. For me, it's about awakening to the truth that I am already spirit, the spirit nature, that I'm already that. I don't have to find a way to bring it in. I just have to open up. It's as simple as deciding that I recognize that I am that. And by recognizing and accepting that I am that, it takes a leap for some of us to believe that we are spirit without doing some heavy lifting of some sort. I have to have a really deep spiritual practice, or I have to have gone through some really unusual spiritual experience or something in order for me to connect that piece to myself. But for me, that's just not true. We are already that. And we talk about these spiritual disciplines that Siddhi has shared with you, and I share with you the micro practices, and you have your own practices that you've been doing for many years, many of you. Those spiritual disciplines and practices are the ways that we tether ourselves to the truth of our spiritual nature. They don't make us spiritual or, change how it is that we are experiencing the world in the way, the most profound way they change how we're experiencing the world is that they remind us and awaken us to our own truth. And when you see yourself as a spirit-natured entity, you will approach your life differently. And you will see the challenges of the physicality and of the mind as simply being maintenance issues. We're called to maintain our body. We're called to maintain the mental busyness and chatter, but that's not who we are. Those are just the side elements of our being. It's not who we are. Who we are is this eternal nature rooted in spirit. And when we recognize that, how we interact and how we interface and how we experience the rest of the universe, from the trees and the plants to other people to all of nature, changes. Because our energy is merging into theirs, because we already are energy. We don't have to go through a lengthy spiritual unearthing so that we can experience our nature alongside other spirit natures. And we start to experience the unity of the whole. And then everywhere you go, everything you do has a juiciness to it. Because the whole of life is juicy. It's pulsing with juiciness, everything. We can see that when we watch the seasonality of nature around us, and we see the juiciness just pouring out as we go from a brown twig to a green little bud to a bursting forth of a leaf, and then a flower comes. We're seeing the juiciness is so evident to us. And yet in ourselves, we don't naturally see our own juiciness. But when we start to acknowledge and see ourselves as spirit can't be anything but juicy. There's no other way for spirit to be. Spirit isn't in a funk. Spirit is alive and juicy all the time. What's in a funk is our emotions and our mental and our physical. Those all compete with one another for giving us other experiences other than the spirit experience. They compete. And until we decide that our experience in this embodied form is going to be of spirit nature, the other things will then come and go. They'll be like waves. The body will be a wave. The wave of maintenance of the body is just something that's coming and flowing through us. It isn't who we are. And that's a really important concept for us to get. It moves us from one plane of experience to another. It's like the breath. So in all of the practices that Siddhi gives us, the breath is the place where we can most connect. That's like the tethered cord to our spirit. That's the body's tethered cord to the spirit. So if we pay more attention to our breath and making a practice of noticing that we're breathing and how we're breathing, the extending of the tummy and just the practice of an inhale and that pause after our inhale before the exhale, and the pause at the bottom of the exhale before the next inhale holds the entire cosmos in that pause. Everything is in that pause. So if we're aware of it and we sink into that, then the cosmos and the universe and the play that's at hand in front of us, all around us, becomes more evident to us. And then we start to lose all of the little idiosyncratic, crazy things that go on in our head about being less than or more than or not liking and a preference and can't do, and all those things that are restrictions to the infinity of the spirit, they fall away. And you start living in the infinity and the eternal nature that you are already. You're not trying to get to, you are already that. I want to just add another little micro practice. This is one of my favorites. I do this every day, every single day. It's once a day. It's so simple to remember. It's called STEP, S-T-E-P. Or each letter stands for something. So the S stands for speak a thank you or your gratitude towards your awakening, towards your freedom, to someone in your family, towards the universe. It doesn't matter. Speak and bow down in gratitude to something that's in your life each day. We are not grateful because we are happy. We are happy because we are grateful. You're not grateful because we are happy. We're happy because we're grateful. So practice gratitude. That's the S. Speak it. Speak it to somebody. Speak it out loud to nature, wherever. Speak it, say it. Have those words vibrate for you. Have the frequency of the sound vibrate for you. The T is to touch the earth. Get your shoes off and walk on the earth. Wherever you can do that, in your garden, wherever, get your shoes off for a period of time every day and walk around on the earth. Connect yourself with the frequency of this planet. E, eat something green. Every day, have something green. You probably are all doing that, but when I became conscious of eating green every day, it changed how I was experiencing eating the green. It became this like blessing that I'm having a green salad or my smoothie or whatever it happens to be. But make sure that you're including green every day into your life. And the fourth P is pranayama. Do something that is breath work every day. One of the simple ones that Siddhi has taught us is that 7 little sips, where you start and you just sip in a little bit of air to the count of 7 and then you hold. So just a you can do that anywhere, anytime. Do it once, do it 10 times, do it 10 minutes, do it whatever, but something that connects you to your breath. Because again, the breath is tethering you to the eternal, the infiniteness, the infinity of space, of ourselves, of how we are in the universe. And if we touch into that every day, we keep getting reminded to where we stop losing the memory. Now we know it, it's so seated in us. We are that. We don't even have to remind ourselves. I'll post this on our toolbox, the step micro practice, but it's easy to do every single day. And it's a very, it will bring you to a different place of being in awareness of yourself and how you are in the universe, how you're rooting yourself, and see how that works this week.
Thank you. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we so often hear, you know, our spirituality is not happening on the mat. The mat, being on the mat allows for us to be spiritual actually in all actions in our entire life, and breathing life into it. So thank you, Nirmala. I like for us to chant this morning, and I shared this chant yesterday in my class, and I don't know, it stayed with me the whole day, and I thought that's why I want to do it today again. So I'm still hooked. So the sounds are very simple. It's Ong, O-N-G, Ong, and then Sohang, S-O-H-U-N-G, Sohang. Yeah, so it's very Ong Sohang, which also means I am. And I want us to envision that the Ong is circling above our head, and we pull the Ong from through the crown, through our body, into the heart center. And then the Sohang starts at the heart center, going down through the lower triangle into the earth. Yeah, so we're bringing the heavens into our crown, and then all the way down into the earth, because often we work the other way up, you know, from below up, but today really bring spirit in through the sound Ong. And I like to visualize it like a spiral coming down and filling me up, and then really going into the earth and giving her the vibration. So you might have to adjust the volume, you know, on your device. Hands are very simple. They just stay open. Your palms are open, and your hands are resting on your knees. Because we don't want to have any mudra. This is a mudra in itself. And just for a moment, sit in silence. And we bring our hands into prayer pose. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for joining. Namaste.